Hi everyone, welcome to week 13. We're going to be taking a look at some new forms of sum, the verb to be, and then a new use of the dative, the dative of possession. So we learned this last week. This is the present tense of the verb to be, sum esse. So sum as est, sumus estis sunt. You might remember that sum esse, excuse me, is an irregular verb. In that its forms don't necessarily follow the same pattern or the patterns that we've learned. This is going to be the same for the future. The good news, though, is that you're not going to have shifting stems as you did in the present. So for the imperfect, all right, you're going to essentially have a stem of ERA. And then you'll add the endings to which you're accustomed. MST, mustis, unt. So aram, aras, arat. Aramus, aratus, arat. All right, for the future, similar, you're going to have a stem of ERI. All right, and then you're going to add the same endings, OST, mustis, unt. The one exception is in the first person singular. All right, that is going to be a row instead of a rim. Remember that Latin doesn't like that IM or IN sound, and similarly, as we've seen, that INT is going to change to an ERUNT. So a row versus a rit, a remus, a ritus, a runt. The imperfect is going to be translated was or were. All right, so aram, I was, and was or were, of course, is dependent on the English. Eras, you were. All right, erat, he, she, it was. Eramus, we were. Eratus, you all were. Erant, they were. All right, future is just going to be translated will be. All right, so I will be, you will be, he, she, it will be, we will be, you all will be, they will be. One thing to keep in mind, and again, we talked about this last week, is that distinction between the verb to be as main verb and the verb to be as helping verb. Same thing will apply for different tenses. So in English, I can say, I was running quickly. All right, I was running quickly. In Latin has nothing to do with aram, aras, arat, aramus, aratus, arant. Remember, that is just the imperfect of the verb to run. Okay, when we'd use aram, aras, arat is something like I was tired. That is going to be aram, fessus, or fessa if you're a female. That is going to be verb to be as a main verb. So I was tired. I was tall. I was short. That might make a little more sense in the past tense. I was running. I was seeing. I was jumping. Those are all the verb to be as a helping verb. And in Latin, that's just going to be one form, just that was running, was seeing, was jumping in the imperfect tense. Same thing with future. All right, so I will be running tomorrow morning, whatever. Will be running is just going to be the future tense of the verb to run. There will be no, in Latin form, a row. All right, and again, that's the helping verb form. You use a row or a writ when it's the main verb. I will be tired after my race, right? A row fessus or a row fessa. All right, they will be tired after traveling for 3 days. Erunt, right? Fessi or fessi. All right, so just keep in mind, same as we learned last week, that distinction between the verb to be, excuse me, the verb to be as a main verb versus the verb to be as a helping verb. These forms here, this is verb to be as a main verb. There is no verb to be as a helping verb in Latin. All right, there sort of is later on, but for you now, there is not. Excuse me. All right, so let's take a look at some examples. All right, this is the Catholic University of Australia, or Notre Dame University in Australia. You can see the motto up here. All right, and here's, of course, our verb to be in the imperfect. So in the beginning, in principio, erat verbum, there was the word. All right, you can also say in the beginning was the word. But there's that main verb. There's no action. There's no other action. There just is being, right? So in principio erat verbum, in the beginning was the word. And again, that's our verb to be in the imperfect, was. All right, here's a look at the future. So there are two different forms of the future of sum in this text here. All right. So ero and erit. All right. So two different subjects based on the endings. So ero with that O ending is going to be what? It's going to be that I ending. And then erit with that T ending is going to be what? That's going to be that he, she, it. All right. Remember, just like any other verb, the endings indicate subjects. With the third person, that T ending, oftentimes you'll have a noun functioning as the subject, but you don't have to. More rare with the non-third person endings, you'll have a noun included with it. Oftentimes, for those non-third person endings, you'll have the pronoun for the subject. So let's finish the translation here. All right. Therefore, ero. So I will be a Virgil if you give me the patronage of a Maecenas. I will not be, that known thrown in there, a Virgil, but I will be a Marsus. And this is a bit of an indictment, a criticism of kind of poetic patronage, meaning wealthy patrons, wealthy people looking after poets. Virgil is kind of the most famous Latin poet, and the Emperor Augustus sort of looked after him. He was his patron. All right, so now we combine them both with both the perfect, the imperfect, with some present thrown in as well. So verb forms on the left. All right, and you've got to choose the English translation here. Again, remember that the imperfect is going to be that ERA. The future is going to be that ERI, with the exceptions being a row for the first person singular and a runt for the third person plural. And then, of course, the present you learned last week, that's sum as est, sumus estis sunt. All right, so for number one, we've got the ERA. That's going to make it imperfect. The second one is present. The third one is future. The first one is imperfect. That's the ERA, right? So this one is correct. Excuse me. All right, number two, sumus. That's one of the irregular forms of the present. So this is imperfect. This is present. This is future. So it's going to be that middle one. All right, and for number three, with that erunt, that's going to be our future. All right, this is imperfect. This is present. This is future. All right, I will leave the rest for you all to do. All right, shifting gears a little bit. The dative of possession. All right, so the dative of possession, I always forget my arrows, don't translate here. The dative of possession is the use of the dative to show possession, hence the name. We know that we've learned the genitive to show possession, the book of the teacher, right? That of the teacher is going to be genitive. The difference between the dative of possession and using the genitive is, for the most part, the dative is going to be used with the verb to be. So there's this kind of specific construction with the verb to be and the dative of possession that is going to show possession. So in Latin, the formula is here, right? So you've got your nominative subject, you've got some form of the verb to be, and then you've got your dative of possession, some noun in the dative. All right. The way it kind of translates literally, not smoothly, but literally, is here, right? So the book is for the teacher. So note the color coding. The book is my nominative subject. The is my verb to be, and the for the teacher is the dative. And if you remember, dative is generally translated to or for. And over here, of course, is what it looks like in Latin. So liber magistro est. So again, with the color, liber is my nominative subject, magistro is my dative, est is my verb to be. All right. Right below, same Latin, liber magistro est, but a bit smoother way for translating the English. And this should be yellow. I apologize. All right. So in other words, excuse me, in the smoother way of translating the English, the dative actually becomes the subject of the English sentence. So the teacher, remember magistro is my dative, so the teacher has the book. So has gives us the possession. Has, of course, indicates possession. Dative becomes the subject. Verb to be becomes has or have, some form of the verb to have. And then the subject becomes the object of that verb have. All right. So either one is fine. You can say the book is for the teacher. It's a little awkward, especially in longer sentences. If you want, you can flip it around and make it a little more colloquial. The teacher has the book. So again, the dative of possession becomes the subject. All right. The subject of the Latin becomes the direct object, and the verb to be becomes the verb to have. And that's explained down here. All right. And again, the color coding is in place. All right. Let's take a look at examples. All right. All right. So you've got sentences, obviously. All right. The idea is what's the sentence? Translating the sentence. All right. And then how is possession being shown? So in the example here, all right, mens laeta regi est. Regi is a third declension noun. That's our dative form. All right. There's our verb to be est. So that's going to be my dative of possession, and that's why that is written here. Two translations as we talked about. So a happy mind, mens laeta, est is dative for the king, or the king has a happy mind. All right, and again, just remember that if you want to translate it that colloquial way, all right, the dative becomes the subject, the verb to be becomes the verb to have, and the Latin subject becomes the object in the English. And you can see that conversion here. So the king has a happy mind. All right. So number one, translation, your wisdom will be great. All right. All right. And so in this particular sentence, there really is no possession going on. So we do a little blank there. And again, an example like number one, to show you that you can have the verb to be, of course, without the dative of possession. All right, and you just got to be aware of that. Now, number two, all right, fama filii erit. All right, filii is my dative. Erit, of course, is the verb to be. So this is going to be the dative of possession. That's our method of possession. All right. The possessor, the one doing the possessing, is the filii or the daughter. All right. And then to translate, fame will be for the daughter, or the daughter will have fame. All right. And again, remember that there's two different ways of translating the dative of possession. First being the more literal, the second being the more colloquial. All right. And then if we look at number three, imperium deorum reginae sapientiam monstrat. All right. So the power of the gods. All right. The power of the gods shows wisdom to the queen. All right, or shows the wisdom of the queen. You can't really tell in terms of reginae. With that ending, it can go either way. Monstrat can take a dative, an indirect object, or you can read it as genitive with sapientiam. Either one is correct. Either way, the possessor is definitely going to be the gods, and it might be the queen, depending on your reading. And the method of possessing is the genitive, showing possession. All right, I'm not going to write the translation down because it'll take too long. But again, the power of the gods shows either the wisdom of the queen or shows wisdom to the queen. I suspect it's going to be genitive, reginae, shows the wisdom of the queen. But again, there's nothing in the Latin to say whether it's genitive or dative either way. We've got some more on this slide as well to practice with. All right, and just a dative of possession text. All right, so we're just translating, we're finishing the translation using the datives. These are personal pronouns, tibi. All right, tibi, we haven't learned those yet, but those are datives. All right, this is a play about mistaken identity, and this is at the end where they are trying to confirm that, in fact, they are the same person. Sosicles and Menagmus are the same person. All right, or identical twins. That's where the mistaken identity comes from. All right. So is the name to you or for you? Menaigmis. And of course, in English, we might say, is your name Menaigmis? All right, yes. Is it Tibby too? Is it for you or yours too? It is. Do you say that there was the father Moscus for you? Again. Do you say that you had the father Moscus? Yep. All right. And then number 2 is kind of the more colloquial translation. So is your name Menaigmis? Is it yours too? This is what we just did. Do you say that Moscus was your father, etc.? All right. So that is the dative of possession. All right. So this week's summatives. Just a translation for the reading. I'll do a little bit of it and then leave the rest for you. So remember, good idea to read through the Latin sentence first. So Romulus et Remus nunc viri erant. The reason that we do that is, again, to kind of break things up a little bit, to identify things we definitely know, things we might not know, and sorry about that, and things we need to know. So for instance, Romulus et Remus, ending, conjunction ending. That tells me that these are going to go together. All right, I've got a verb to be and another nominative that's going to get translated there. So Romulus and Remus, now, nunc, were men. So Romulus and Remus, nunc erant viri. Romulus and Remus now were men. All right. So alba tunc erat latio, caput et emulius regnabat. All right. So alba's on its own as a nominative. Latio is either a dative or an ablative, but given that I have a verb to be, there's a good chance it's going to be dative. All right. Et emulius regnabat. So that et is a conjunction, and then emulius regnabat seems to go well on its own. All right. Alba then. All right. Alba at that time, tunc, was the capital, the head of Latium. All right. And that's where that dative comes in. It's almost functioning like a genitive here. And Amulius was ruling it. So Alba then was the capital of Latium, and Amulius was ruling it. All right, I'll do one more sentence. Said Romulus urbem noam aedificara optabat et regnare. All right, so as I read through that, Romulus fine, nominative, there's my US ending. Urbem noem, 2 accusatives, probably going to be a direct object. They're going together. And then aedificara et regnare are infinitives. And when I have infinitives, I need to make sure that there is a verb that takes infinitives, and that is optabat, meaning to want, right? Clearly, someone is wanting to do something, and that's going to be Romulus. So, but Romulus was wanting, to build a new city, aedificara urbem noam, et regnare, and to rule, or rule it, the new city. All right, I will leave the rest for you. Here is the writing summative, so translating English to Latin. All right, so let's look at number 2. Note that it says use sum and the dative of possession. All right, so in other words, yes, it says used to have a good reputation. Remember, used to have is just the imperfect, but with the dative of possession, it's going to be the verb to be. And remember that conversion. So daughter, because she's possessing, daughter is going to be in the Latin dative. Used to have is going to be a form of sum esse, in this case the imperfect because of used to have, and good reputation is going to be the nominative. I won't do them for you, but that's kind of the conversion, so to speak. All right, so your house is small but beautiful. So tua casa, that's my subject, right? Est parva sed pulchra. All right. I'll do number 3. The girls kept throwing rocks without a care. Again, remember, this is a form of the imperfect. There is no helping verb here. All right, so girls, nominative plural. They're the subject. So puellae saxa. That's going to be rocks, my direct object. It's a neuter noun. That's why it's got that A ending. All right, sine cura, without a care. And then I'm going to go down the line. Yata bond with that NT ending because it is plural. All right, so that is it for this week. Have a good week. Please email me with any questions, and I'll be here next week. Thanks.